Hey guys, it's Deena. Oh my gosh, I apologize. Okay, so this is part two of Are You Proud or Ashamed of Slavery? Okay, I guess I was preaching a little too hard because I lost the connection. But oh, I got a couple people coming back in. So thanks again, you guys, for coming to flynubianqueen.com and joining me here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time and 10 p.m. Eastern time, where I discuss topics that are relevant to the melanated queens and kings out here. And mostly I'm speaking to the queens, but I always welcome the kings to join in here on Fly Nubian queen.com on Facebook, and then later on you'll catch us. The rebroadcast will be on YouTube at flynubianqueen.com on YouTube. I apologize, guys. Basically, my computer ran out of juice. I didn't have it plugged in. I thought I did, and I didn't, so I apologize for that. I'm so glad that you guys are coming back in. Hey, we got all 23 people back in the house. So I'm going to ask you guys, if I didn't read your comment, if you could please put in your comment again, and I'm going to go ahead and extend this. It's 7:53. I'm going to extend this till about 8:10 or 8:15. If hopefully that'll be cool. We'll get another 15 minutes, 20 minutes in on this discussion. So, hey, shalom, everybody. Let's see, Trudy Montefiore, hello. Hey, Abayomi, peace. Okay, so I don't know, were you guys here earlier? Hello, Ramel. Hi, Lila, Trudy, Mildred. I just want to say, if you guys haven't already, please hit the thumbs up, the like button, the subscribe. Please share this discussion if you feel that it is relevant and somebody could benefit from it. Are we proud or are we ashamed of slavery? So I just want to touch back on, for those of us who may not have been here in the earlier live stream, what we were talking about. I started to touch on, you're here, Lila said she's here for part two only. I know that's right, girl. You want me to keep preaching? Okay. But please, Lila, can you guys just put your comments in again? Because I wanted to continue to read some comments. Are you proud or are you ashamed? Because what I did was I broke down what slavery means, right? So it's to work excessively hard, or it's a person who is the legal property of another and is forced to obey them. And then we talked about what it means to be proud, which is feeling a deep pleasure or satisfaction as a result of one's own achievements, qualities, or possessions, or those of someone with whom one is closely associated. So with us being the descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves, ADOS, foundational blacks, native blacks, however you want to label yourself, those of us who came out of the hell of the American South, as Professor Black Truth often says, we descended from that and go back for generations. The people who are the foundational blacks who built the foundation of this country, and the native black Americans, those who are native to the Americas that were brought over here and have come from as far back as, 400, 300 years ago, when our people were brought here and were born generation after generation in this country. That's who we're talking about. Are we proud of slavery or are we ashamed of slavery? Shame is a painful feeling of humiliation and distress, just to make sure we're all on the same page again. So now we have 36 people in, so we've increased the numbers, and I appreciate that. That means you guys are probably sharing this live stream. So I started to touch on Sankofa, right, which is an African term. And just to touch on that again so we can continue the conversation. And then we'll get moving back into that conversation. Now, I'm getting this from Wikipedia, but Sankofa is a Ghanaian word that basically means to go back and get it. And if you translate it directly, it basically, Sankofa means it is not wrong to go back for that which we have forgotten. And so I had started to get it off into a rant about how we could, yes, we're going to boycott. A lot of us are talking about boycotting the Harriet movie because it's not being portrayed by a descendant of slavery and an American descendant of slavery, an ADOS actor. And we're kind of getting tired of seeing our heroes and our sheroes, as some people call the female version. We're tired of seeing them portrayed by people from Britain and Nigeria or whatever, the Caribbean. And we're feeling like we can do better than that. And so I kind of made a suggestion earlier that on the night that that movie premieres, okay, we're going to, you know, those of you who are going to boycott, why don't we hold screenings at our homes, our community centers, etc., and watch films that we neglected in the past? We're going to do a Sankofa on Birth of a Nation, the film that Nate Parker produced and I think wrote and starred in, about Nat Turner. That's an ADOS member of the community who put his own blood, sweat, and tears into that film, his own money, and got that film put out there. And he hired Gabrielle Union and some other ADOS actors and actresses to portray that story. It's a very important story in our history. And we can go back and we can look at, I think it was Daniel Hale Williams, who was portrayed by Mos Def, who, if I'm not mistaken, is ADOS as well. Don't quote me on that. But it's a great story about the Black man who performed the first open heart surgery at Johns Hopkins. There are many, many films that have been made, documentaries as well, by American descendants of slaves and who starred American descendants of slaves, that we can support and watch, and we can go back and we can pay those films that we overlooked because of the shame that a lot of us felt. I heard a lot of people saying, oh, after 12 years a slave, I can't watch no more slave movies. I'm not going to see that Nat Turner film. I don't want to see that. I want to see something uplifting. That should be uplifting in a certain way if you shift your mind state. We should not be ashamed that we are the descendants of people who built this country, the foundational Black Americans who built this country. This country would be nothing without our ancestors, our great-great-great-grandmamas and great-great-great-grandpapas. It would be nothing. And we should feel some pride in that. And if we want to have an example of other group of people who have gone through something that was horrific as well, we can look towards the Jews. They celebrated their descendants and their people who came out of the Holocaust. Their Holocaust survivors were given medals, monies, land, made documentaries about them, made a ridiculous amount of films have been made about the Holocaust and the survivors, and they were portrayed by other Jews who were then celebrated for their portrayals and their sacrifices. I think about Adrian Brody and the Pianist. That's a really amazing film. I mean, all the way around, artistry, writing, his commitment to the role, I mean, was amazing. So, you know, we can look at that as an example if we need that, which I don't think we do. I think we know in our heart of hearts that those people in our past, from our lineage, need to be celebrated. And we need to dig in, go into the archives and go into our old DVD collections and go into our old VHS collections and go to our Uncle Day-Day's house who still got a VHS player, and we need to crank that baby up and hook it up to the big screen and get our tech savvy little nieces and nephews to figure out how to stream that thing. And we're going to barbecue and we're going to get some beer and some liquor, whatever y'all want to get. And some of y'all who got that legal, got that legalized marijuana in y'all state or whatever, and y'all have a good old time watching these films and feeling empowered and uplifted and getting that pride that we should have around being the descendants of American slavery. We built this country. We built this economy. We are the greatest, quote unquote, cultural export. Our culture. There is no American culture if you don't have Black culture. So that's just a quick recap. And now I'm going to get into your comments. So thank you guys for coming back to join me. I got 52 comments already. I love you guys. Thank you. I'm going to shut up now as far as my opinions, and I'm going to get into your opinions. So let's do this. No more virtual reality video games for me. Okay, Kente Africanus. Please expand on what you're talking about there. Hey to everyone saying hey to me. I'm so glad you guys are here. Darnell Smith, just chiming in, missed part 1. Well, baby, I hope you go back and you watch it on YouTube or you check it out here. It should pop up. I'm crossing my fingers. It's going to pop up. Craig Muhammad says, I feel ashamed not just to be descendant of slaves. I just feel like we are warrior race. We should have put up a better fight. Baby, Craig, look, can I help? If you can open your heart and your mind and you can listen to me for one moment and just feel me right now. Feel me. Drop down into your heart space. There's nothing Craig, I'm gonna tell you right now, there is nothing for you as an American descendant of slave to be ashamed of. We are warriors. We have been fighting during the time of slavery, after the time of slavery, in Reconstruction. You guys need to look up Reconstruction. We did some amazing things during Reconstruction, and then they stamped it down. There have been organized, systematic efforts made to stamp down every single attempt that this warrior class of people, yes, us, we have been putting up a fight ever since we landed here. Do not allow them to let you think that we were just sitting there getting whipped the whole time. There were men, there were women. That's what the Harriet Tubman story brings to mind. There was a woman who said, enough. No, enough. This is some BS. I'm not taking this. I'm getting out of here. Then she got out of here and she's like, wait a minute. I can't leave all them folks back there. We got to fix some things out. We got to come up with a plan. And she did it, and she survived. Okay, she survived and thrived and went back and grabbed some folks and brought them with her several different times. So there's nothing to feel ashamed about. Sankofa, it is not wrong or shameful, I'm going to add, to go back for that which you have forgotten, and that is embodied in the story of Harriet Tubman. And that's why it is so important that someone like her is portrayed in a way that is dignified by us. We need to get in control of the stories and the narratives. And that's what the Jews did with the story of the Holocaust. They got in control of that thing, and they have rolled that story until the wheels still haven't fallen off that story. They're still riding that story and milking it for everything it's worth and making sure that it never has the possibility to happen again. That's an example that we can look at and say, first of all, we don't need to be ashamed, because they're not ashamed that the Holocaust happened. They celebrate, commemorate, commiserate, and liberate based on that situation. They got their own land over in Israel. They get reparations from people, all, countries and corporations and everything all over the world. They getting checks. There is something to be learned from that as an example. I'm not saying they're the greatest or whatever. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that there is something to be learned by an example that has been set for a people who was oppressed, murdered, killed, robbed from, basically raped from everything that they had and thrown into gas chambers and concentration camps and starved to death and worked. They were in a form of slavery there. Now, I'm not going to compare whose was worse or whatever, but what I'm saying is we can look at how things were handled afterwards, and we can kind of say, what are some things that we can be inspired by? First of all, let's get rid of the shame. So that's what I'm here to discuss tonight. And I want to read a couple of quotes from Harriet. I'm going to take y'all into a couple quotes, and then we'll get back into your quotes. All right. So Harriet said, this is one of my favorite quotes from her: "Never wound a snake, kill it." If you could see this picture I'm looking at of Harriet Tubman right now, those eyes. You guys Google that quote, you're going to see a picture of Harriet, and she's like, "Never wound a snake, kill it." And then she giving up them intense eyes like she about to slit somebody's throat or something. So another one she says is, "Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and change the world." This is coming from Miss Harriet. Don't ever stop. Keep going. If you want to taste freedom, keep going. And that's something I can say for our people. We have kept going. Now, we might not be exactly where we want to be as a collective, but we have made strides and changes. We had the civil rights movement. We had Reconstruction. We had the Civil War. We had the Panthers. We have the Nation of Islam. We have, some of the Black Israelites. We have enclaves that have woken up in different ways and different forms and have moved forward to start their own collectives. We had those places like Black Wall Street, etc. Now, did they get stamped down? Yes. some of them. However, we have also shown great endurance as warriors. So that's what I would give to you, Craig Muhammad. Lila Brown says she's a descendant of emperors. Yes, ma'am. Trudy Montefort says, I'm not proud or ashamed. I'm sad and angry regarding it. So let's channel that sadness and that anger. Why are you sad? And why are you, I know why you're angry. I can also understand why you're sad. And usually sad is the foundation of which anger is built upon. So, okay, those are legitimate feelings. Now let's keep working that forward to where we get empowered, right? So that let's use the anger as the fuel to empower us. Let's learn more. Let's get curious and see, how did that even happen? How did all of that even go down? And what were some of the things that the ancestors used in the past to build the community? And then what happened as a result once they built it? And where were the weak links to where it was able to be? Was it too isolated? And that's how they were able to come in and destroy it? Were we too open to outsiders or something? Is that how they were able to infiltrate and destroy things? That's the Sankofa. So yeah, you can be a little sad, you can grieve, you can be angry, but we don't want to stop there. We don't just want to sit in that and then be ashamed because some things happen. We all have times and places where we've been taken advantage of in various ways, forms, or fashions. You can have a moment to feel your feelings and be ashamed, be sad, be angry, but then you have to challenge yourself to keep elevating in your development. And that's what I'm challenging us to do tonight, is to try to elevate ourselves as a community of queens and kings, to say, we are proud descendants. We are proud American descendants of slavery. We are proud foundational Blacks. We are proud Native Black Americans, right? And we feel comfortable going back to our past. Even sometimes it may be a little uncomfortable to go back to our past, but we use that and we put that in our faces first, and then we hold that and shine that light up to those who are the descendants of our oppressors, the descendants of our enslavers, and we put that fear and we put that shame on them. We do not need to own that. That's something they tried to put on us because they were feeling it by making all those like blackface and vaudeville and all that foolishness that they started making us feel like we were coons and all that. That's not who we are. Okay, enough preaching. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you for joining us on FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women just like me and you, and also for some melanated kings out there too. If you guys haven't checked out FlyNubianKingTV.com, please do. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share this live stream. I'm so happy that you guys are here to join me every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys are trying to get your money up, go to flynubianmoney.com. You're interested in starting a business, which we all should be educating ourselves on how to start a business. Go to flynubianbusiness.com and please support us by shopping fnq.com. And if you haven't already, please text the word Queens to 31996. That's 31996. So we can hit you with some updates and text alerts, and you can get to know when the Queens are going to go live. Okay, so there was a breach of contract from whites, says Lila Brown. She said she's also a descendant of philosophers. Yes, ma'am. There's okay. We take it way back. We're going back to the astronomers, and we're going back to the original horticulturists. We're going back to the original architects. We're going back to the original agricultural people. We're going back to the original builders. We're going back to the originators, okay, of the human race. So we keep taking it back and keep going back and back and back to that which we have forgotten. Hashtag Sankofa. Okay. So Lila Brown. Okay. Thank you for those comments. Ramel, who's also a top fan, Ramel Harris says, me also. It's subservient propaganda. Yes, ma'am, Lila Brown. Lila says, boycott Harriet. Trudy Montefort says, facts. Kente Africana says, boycott them. And then Kente Africana says, who cares? I don't know what you mean by who cares. I maybe talking about a Harriet movie? I don't know. You got to expand for me, brother. Craig Muhammad says, with things like that, it's always propaganda. I prefer a movie about Mansa Musa, says Lila Brown. You know what, Lila? I'm going to challenge you to Google. I think there was a movie made about Mansa Musa. I'm not sure. I think it was an African movie. Do a little quick Google search and let us know, okay? I got about 5 more minutes here. Hannibal of Carthage. Yes, you getting it, Lila. Yes, she's getting it. Give me some more, honey. She said Queen Khalifa. Yes, Lila Brown. I would go see a story about Olmec. Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. We got to go back and get these stories. And if you're going to boycott Harriet, I'm just going to challenge you that night, that weekend, you guys do some screenings of your own for films that are by ADOS, about ADOS, and that are going to give us more history, instead of just simply sitting at home that night and doing nothing. You know, I'm not going to see the movie. What are you going to do instead? Be productive about it. And that's how we can start to release some of this shame, especially for our younger people, because a lot of them haven't been exposed to the real, true Black history. Now, first, we got to go back to slavery. Then we take it back even further. Okay? And we get back into the kings and queens days. They designed America not just as unpaid labor. That's right, we did. You guys want to get into DC, they always give the credit to L'Enfant, right, for designing DC, but he would have been nothing. Those plans and designs wouldn't have been nothing without Benjamin Banneker, okay? Benjamin Banneker was the one. Let's keep it 100, okay? Benjamin Banneker was the architect of Washington, DC. He created it, okay? But L'Enfant gets a plaza named after him and a metro station named after him and a circle with a statue of him. Benjamin Banneker, where he at? I think they named a couple schools in the city and some stuff after him. But you know what I'm saying? Like, most of the time you look into these great American engineers and scientists and businessmen and creators and what do you call those people who inventors, and you're gonna find out that they had some Black man or some Black woman. I mean, even think about the movie that just came out not too long ago with the Black women. Oh my gosh, what is the name of it? I cannot think of the name of it. Taraji was in it, and the little singer Janelle Monáe was in it. That they couldn't even get into space without us. What do we have to be ashamed of? They ought to be ashamed. They couldn't even get into space without us. They done sold this whole thing about, oh, we got space. We beat the Russians. Oh, we're the greatest country in the world. They couldn't get nowhere without us. Anything they were trying to do, they be trying to do it on their own. Don't let those Negroes in here. Don't let those Negroes in here. Close the doors. They're segregated. We're going to figure this out. And then they would figure out that they couldn't figure it out without one of us. Then they're going to crack the door open and be like, well, let one of them in and see what they have to say. And then next thing you know, we up in space, landing on the moon. We need to be proud of that. Okay? We need to have pride in that. There's so much to be celebrated as a race of people here in America. We have to start celebrating that. We can't look for them to celebrate it. We got to celebrate it. We have to be proud of it. Okay, Lila Brown, descendants of free Blacks in America. Lila Brown, crisis attacks was born free. Benjamin Banneker, yes, baby girl. Aaliyah Morrison, I'm proud of how many ancestors survived through these atrocities. Again, Aaliyah, you hit it on the head. That's the way we shift our mindset. We have to shift it. We're in control of this. We, the American descendants of slaves, foundational Blacks, Black natives, we control the narrative. We control America and how America moves. We control the economy. We are the most powerful beings in this world. There is a reason why they chose us, and we must remember that, and we must feel pride in that, and we must take control of it so that we as a people can free ourselves and move forward. Praise God. Yes. And if you don't believe in God, that's okay. Praise the universe. If you don't believe in the universe, well, I don't know what to say. Thank you, Lila. Lila is a wealth of information. Are you a millennial, baby doll? I'm just curious. I hope you don't mind if I ask. Are you millennial? How old are you? Because I want to say you need to definitely be a leader in your community, and you need to have that screening. And if you're going to be boycotting Harriet, can you set up some screenings? Because you got all the names, and then you know what? You can make it a monthly thing or a weekly thing, and you can get your millennials together and get some elders to come in and you know, y'all have a kickback movie night. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it fun. Let's make it exciting. Let's make it something we can feel good about. You know, we love a good kickback. We love a good party. We love to dance. We love to sing. We love to enjoy life. Even the resiliency of that, to be able to still be creative and come up with the old Negro spirituals, which became the blues, which became the rhythm and blues, which became rock and roll, which became R&B, which became, you know, hip hop, which became soul, which became trap, which became jazz, which, you know, all these different things. I know I ain't saying it in the right order, okay, so don't get me. But you feel what I'm saying? Through all that different, all them changes they took us through, we took those changes and we created something great from it. And not just the music and stuff like that. There's also the scientists. There's the ladies who came up with the numbers to crack the codes to get these fools out in space. Okay? You think Elon Musk gonna be able to get out in space? He trying, it ain't working. He need him a black woman over there. He needs a black woman or a black man or somebody with the mind and the creativeness to be able to see and tap into the ethers to get the information to get him out to Mars. Because he ain't going to get out there on his own. When have they ever been able to do anything on their own? When you really get to digging and researching and figuring out who was involved in those early stages of anything that was created in America, there's always a black person involved. Okay, I would say 95 to 98% of the time. And maybe there's about 2-3% of the time where one of them actually had a breakthrough. But I would say we got to dig up in their DNA and see what that's about. I hope you guys are enjoying this talk as much as I am. I hope that this is reaching you guys on some level. And I hope that this is, you know, helping some people who are feeling shame to be able to release that shame and turn it into something to be proud of. Everything that you do and you go through in your life that you endure can be turned into something great. Diamonds are created from pressure. And there was extreme pressure. And you remember that song by Rihanna, "Shine bright like a diamond, shine bright like a diamond." That's us. So I just take a couple more comments and then I'm out of here. Lila, you are a wealth of information. Thank you, dear. Lila Brown, you own several black businesses. Well, my darling, you're going to have to post some links so we can support you, because I see you are an on sister. I prefer stories on how the Moors ruled Europe, girl. So maybe, you know, I'm sure there's a couple documentaries or some stuff out there like that. Let's bring it to the people. Craig Muhammad, but that's the point, sweetheart. They're getting everything and we're not getting nothing. We never get reparations from anyone. I'm not going to say we're not getting anything. We have to get in control of what's going on, because we have some money flowing through our community. It might not be a lot, but all we need is some funds to put in the pot to grow them. You know, a lot of people start with nothing and move themselves forward. They take what little bit that they have and they use it to their advantage. They have a plan. We got to get that vision. But first, we got to get out of being ashamed. And, you know, there are some things that we receive now that, you know, people are not maximizing and could be maximizing. So, you know, that's a whole nother conversation, but I think you get what I'm saying. We will get reparations. We will get it, and it will happen in our lifetimes. We have to push it forward. Yolanda Kelly, I mean, we can be proud of our people's resilience, but not savage people holding us in bondage. So place the shame on them. There's no shame for us. Place the shame on them. If we refuse to receive the energy, if you guys believe in energetic, right? If you believe in the energetic, energy is always in existence, always moving. It's never still. So when they try to put that shame on you, you just push it back. You just reflect it. We just got to use our superpowers and be like, no. You know, we got to be like Storm and shift the energy and just, boop. No, I'm not receiving shame about slavery. Okay, I'm not going to be ashamed to be a descendant of slave. Once we remove that, then we can stop acting like we don't want a check, and we can stop acting like we don't want some land, and we can stop acting like I just want an apology. I don't even need no apology, okay? For me personally, I don't need an apology. Just give me a check and some land, and I'm going to keep it moving. I'm not going to be ashamed to get a check. And that's part of it. A lot of people are feeling like, oh, you know, I'm ashamed that, you know, I don't want to check because that's just going to be whatever. Remove the shame and receive the pride. Receive what is due, what is owed to our people. That's how I feel about that. Okay, Lila, you have a lot to say, my darling. I'm going to read a couple other comments, but I appreciate, you know, people can go back and read your comments later. You guys check out some of Lila Brown's comments. Myla Davis, never leave an enemy behind or alive. Hey, Harriet said, never wound a snake, kill it. This came from Harriet Tubman, okay? Kenta Africanus, Black man allies are more dangerous to him than his enemies. You know, some of the people, I don't know if you've been listening to Professor Black Truth, but he kind of speaks on that quite a bit. So I think y'all are in the same vein right there. Yolanda Kelly, Black people need to feel for us, our sisters and our brothers. Compassion is a feeling we need. Have compassion for yourself, absolutely. Kente Africana says he's speaking from firsthand experience. Okay, well, guard yourself, brother. Mila Davis, I agree. Anybody can switch up. Okay, Lila Brown, great idea. Okay, let me see. Elaine Jones says yes. Craig Muhammad, facts about DC. I mean, Black people ran DC and still running DC. You go to DC, you're going to see white folks at the top, and you're going to see Black people working in the offices, being the assistants, being the assistant secretaries, being the assistant to the assistant secretary, being the people that are working all throughout the offices. You know, you had a city full of Black people, Chocolate City. Some of the most affluent suburbs in the country for Blacks is outside in, you know, surrounding suburbs outside of DC. That's because Black people were running the government. I realized that from a very young age. I'm like, wait a minute, we got white people, the president and his cabinet, they all white, but everybody else under them that you don't see on TV is a brother or sister. Is a king or a queen. That means we're running this thing. This government wouldn't even be running without us, okay? If we decided one day to just be like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this no more, and just decided we were going to just stand back and see what was going to happen, this shit would collapse. Okay, so Kente Africanus, when you're highly favored, your reality is different, and I understand your lack of understanding. Are you speaking to me, baby? I don't know. And maybe not. But these are my opinions, and that's what I'm saying. These are my opinions. These are my thoughts. This is something I wanted to put out there for you guys to think about, and I'm so glad that you're here, whether you agree with me or not. If you still feel that you want to be ashamed of slavery, that is your prerogative. If some of you have decided now to be feeling a little bit more proud about some of the situations and people that came out of slavery and who we have become as a result of slavery, because believe it or not, we are great people. Even to this day, in the situations that we are in, we're still great. Everyone in the world is still imitating us. Why? If we're such horrible, shameful, disgusting, no good people, why is everyone in the world trying to imitate us? Trying to look like us, trying to dance like us, trying to dress like us, trying to talk like us, trying to create like us, trying to think like us? That's something to think about, folks. Think about it. If we were that low down, ain't nobody trying to imitate folks that ain't about nothing. They out there trying to imitate us. Not Africans, not Caribbeans, not British. Us, American descendants of slaves. There's something to be proud of in that. We have to own it. And so I'm going to close out there. And I'm going to say thank you so much. Once again, I love you guys. All 18 of you. Who are here. You know, I appreciate if you would spread the word and let people know that Deena Jacobs is speaking here on flynubianqueen.com. And once again, I want to thank you guys for joining me here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time and 10 p.m. Eastern time. on Facebook Live, and then there's going to be a repeat of this that's going to air on our YouTube channel, which is flynubianqueen.com on YouTube. Please check us out on iTunes, where you can take the queens with you on the go, flynubianqueen.com on iTunes. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share this. And I want to say thank you guys again for being so interactive here and sharing your comments. And thanks to you guys who come every week and support me here. If you'd like to follow me or you have some ideas about some topics, I did have a young lady, I cannot remember her name, but she did reach out to me about the Harriet controversy, and I appreciate her on my Instagram, and that's what kind of gave me some insight to look into what was going on with the controversy and have my own personal spin on it and just talk about what the heart of this is. And it's about pride, and it's about owning who we are and owning our stories and owning our history. And in order for us to really do that, we need to have some pride around it. It may have been harsh, it may have been horrible, it may make you sad and angry at first, but then you got to get like Harriet, you know, and you got to move yourself forward, and then you got to look back, and instead of being like, oh, I'm ashamed of them people over there, she was like, you know what? I was able to do it, and I'm proud of who I am and who I've become and what this has pushed me to be. And now I'm going to go back and get those people and bring them forward so that they can stand with me as a proud American descendant of slavery. So I'm going to leave you guys with that and say, yeah, just like Lyda Brown said, support Black productions. So thank you for supporting flynubianqueen.com, and thank you for supporting me, Deena Jacobs. Please follow me on Instagram at Deena, Deena Jacobs, Flaunt, Flaunt, and send me some DMs. Keep it nice, keep it clean, people. You know, I like it like that. And give me some suggestions for topics. I really do appreciate it. I love you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.